Jonah had the last walk. The camp was a ring of cabins around a dark lake, and closing time was simple. Check the boats, shut the lights, lock the gate. He liked the routine. It made the place smaller, easier to hold. That night the moon was hidden. The cabins were pillows of shadow, and the lanterns at the dining hall threw thin cones of warm light. Jonah moved through the camp the way he always did, but he noticed small things that didn't fit. The clock over the kitchen sink stopped at 9. 12, a paddle leaned against the shed, was wet though he hadn't used it, and a tin cup sat on the bunks as if someone had been there recently. Did the camp just feel different because it was late, or had something changed while everyone else had gone? He couldn't say. He told himself to stop thinking and finish his rounds. At first it was small noises, the scrape of a boot on the walk, the low hiss of wind through the pines. Jonah heard the camp settle, and then something else. A thin, wavering sound like someone humming an old song he used to sing to the kids. It faded when he stopped, then began again behind the boat shed. He told himself it was the radio or an old tape somewhere. He called out, "Hello?" and the sound cut clean. The other counselors were gone, the gate was locked. Still, a line of tiny footprints marked the muddy bank, too close together for Mr. Barker's boots, too small for any of the teens. A child's print. Who had left them? Why were there signs of someone who shouldn't have been here at all? Jonah traced the prints with his boot and felt the hair on his arms tighten. He followed the prints to the old dock. The boards groaned under his weight. The lake was smooth like glass. Jonah felt close to something he couldn't name, like listening to a story and missing the page with the ending. Then the feeling came. His legs and arms went heavy as if someone had pressed them into the wood. His breath stayed even, his heart sped, and his hands could not move. He lowered his head, trying to blink, trying to shout. He could still think. He could hear the soft rasp of the lake against the pilings and the whisper of his own jacket. He felt a slight weight beside him on the bench, a depress in the wood where nothing should be. Was it the mind's trick, exhaustion catching up? Or had someone, something, sat next to him and left without a trace? When his muscles finally obeyed, he turned fast and the dock was empty. On the planks lay a small folded scrap of paper, damp at the edges, a child's crayon drawing on it that looked like a face with no eyes. Jonah took the scrap and carried it back to the cabin, rubbing his hands together until they warmed. He stayed awake the rest of the night in the office, lights on, radio set to static. He told himself stories to fill the quiet. The next morning, everything looked ordinary, the bunks made, the kids laughing, yet he kept catching himself listening. Weeks later, the scrap of paper was folded in his pocket like a secret. Sometimes he would unfold it and stare at the crude face with no eyes. He asked other counselors if they'd seen anyone, a stray child, a camper who left early. They all said no. Had he dreamed the whole thing? Had he been awake and lying to himself when he saw the prints, the bench, the weight? Some nights he would wake and think he heard humming outside his window, the same half-remembered tune. He never found an answer. What do you do with a place that remembers your steps even when you leave?